Dipple.
Come on, won't you say it loud? Ayo, we gon' turn this out. Tom Clark's main event. Dropkick now and powerbomb. Ayo, bro, let's bring this on. Hey, hey, why this up? Oh, captain, my captain, show the stuff. Power slammer, suplex 2. Hot garbage just for you. Big breaker, cut a code red. Figure 4, hot times ahead. Since 2014, it's on. It's a 10 count, but stand up strong. Hey kid, no DQ. Strong style, chop, this is how it do. Tom Clark's main event. Tom Clark's main event. Tom Clark's main event. Tom Clark's main event.
Hey, what's up, kids? Welcome back to the program. Tom Clark back here with you yet again. Get over here on another Friday. Sometimes I feel like the mic's off balance. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Oh, Mike, let me do some TI here in a second. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the main event. This is me, the one and only Tom Clark, and this is the one and only Tom Clark's main event. Often imitated, never duplicated. Want to know why? Because it's the only pro wrestling podcast on the face of this planet, hosted by a guy named Tom Clark who looks like this, with this mic, wearing these clothes with that background. See how special that is, how unique that is? I'm telling you, baby, it's one of a kind. We're always flattered when people, take inspiration from us here on the show. But, baby, we're never duplicated, all right? Going strong since 2014 here, kids. That's 12 years. Count them, 12 years. And, we're glad to be here with you here today. We hope you kids have come through the weather okay in the past 2 weeks. The snow, the ice, they be coming hard, and we have withstood the storm. We have come out of the other side, and hopefully that's it for a good long while, because let me tell you, the ground around my house, behind, front, the road, all through my entire neighborhood is still covered in snow. It's insane. We got like 7 inches here last week. I didn't think it was ever going to stop snowing, okay? Insanity. And I know for some people, and some of you in some parts of the country, and indeed the world, 7 inches of snow is like a Tuesday. Who cares? But for the state of North Carolina, baby, let me tell you, believe me when I tell you, it can be quite atrocious. However, we got through it okay. I didn't have anywhere to be, so I stayed home. In fact, my SUV was in the garage for the past several days, so I just let it be there. I didn't have anywhere to go, and I had no reason to go anywhere anyway. It really doesn't pay to leave the house. Can we just be straight? So, we hope you've given you some great motivation to get about the rest of your day. Don't leave the house. You'll regret it. Be sorry you did. Man, what kind of motivational talk is that? Let's see who's first at the table. Ray all day. Kids, don't forget about Ray Sports and Slams live every Monday at 6 p.m. on the Facebook and, more importantly, on Boink Studios YouTube. Content is not behind a paywall. So be sure you are subscribing. Be sure you are following the channel and sharing all the content everywhere you possibly can. Because, again, no paywall involved. You can see the link here on the screen. I do have a Buy Me a Coffee account if you'd like to throw a few bucks my way. Production on the podcast is not free. I have a lot of love doing these shows, but these shows cost money to produce. So if you appreciate what you see and hear and you enjoy watching and listening to the show, first off, thank you. It means loads to me. But second, if you feel so inclined and want to throw a few bucks my way so I can get a cup of Java, that would mean loads to me. I appreciate you very much. And we've had several people contribute there, and we appreciate their support. I may even start linking some special shout-outs and whatnot. Maybe not a Patreon type of thing, but if I'm going to sit here and ask for donations here and there, then I can surely do something in return. So everybody stay tuned for that. But if you will go follow that link you see on your screen, I'd appreciate it. JP's in the house. Good to see you. Let's get, where are we? Here we go. My comments are acting all funky today, kids. What's up, Fernando? Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, I mean, supposedly the latest on Big E, and I was going to get to it here today, but Big E supposedly is done. I mean, we kind of thought it was over. And, Big E he's such a charming guy. And he's a very smart guy. He's a fanboy, which always helps. He's a video game guy. all these things helps. You know what I mean? They all help. I'm sure he's got a good team around him of people who are going to help direct him in the next phase of his career, whatever it is that happens to be. And I've not refreshed myself on the full story here yet, everybody, to know exactly what he's doing. But from what I understand, I think he's made it official. Which, if I were him, I don't know that I would have wanted to make it official. Maybe just hold on for as long as you can. Which I felt like that's what he did. Can we be honest? I think he did everything he possibly could. And I'm sure there was a lot of work that went on behind the scenes, a lot of things that we'll never be privy to, that are quite frankly really none of our business. But a lot of things that like in terms of his physical rehab and trying to get back in ring shape, and I'm sure he had many evaluations over the past several years to see if he could ever get to that point. But we'll see. You never say never, but it sure looks like it's probably the end of the road for him in terms of being an active in-ring professional wrestler. That's the scuttlebutt anyway. But yeah, it's a shame. But you know what's even worse is not being able to walk. Okay, and that's a big deal. He's got his health. It looks to be like he's in great shape. But he does consider himself retired from the ring. He's left the door open, he says, at least for the moment. He says, quote, "I'm content. I'm wrestling. In wrestling, they always say never, as we just said. But right now, I'm retired, and that for me is it. So I'm focused on other things right now," end quote. So yeah, good for him. I'm glad that he's okay. You know what I mean? I'm very glad he's okay. Randy Engel, what's up, my friend? Good to see you. Thank you so much for watching the show. Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about here today. Usually, well, not usually, but for the past few weeks, we've just kind of covered like the major news and headlines. I want to do something a little bit different today. I got some things in my mind that I've talked about with some podcasting friends of mine over the past several days, and I want to get your guys' take. I really want to know what you guys think about some of these topics, but I want to start off with this. This notion about wrestlers moving forward in pro wrestling promotions. Okay. And, the next question on my list here is, is anyone moving up? Which I think goes along with this question as well. But I'd like to know what you guys think. Here's what I mean by this. Pardon me for the water suddenly in the middle of got to stay hydrated, kids. All right. But here's what I mean by this. Is anyone moving forward? And I'll give you a great example. When you look at AEW today versus AEW, say, 3 years ago, who's moved forward? Where is Orange Cassidy today versus where he was 3 years ago? Do you see upward movement? Do you see lateral movement? Do you think he has stayed in the exact same place that he's always been? And it's not just Orange. It's a bunch of people in that company. Darby has had some phenomenal matches in the past 3 years. We can all agree on that. I mean, Orange has had some phenomenal matches in the past 3 years in that company. Is Darby any closer to the world title today than he has been? Is Orange any closer to the world title today than he has been? Now here, let me quantify my comments by telling you this. When I say moving forward, do I necessarily mean that it's world title or bust? I think we all fall into that trap at times as wrestling fans of, if you don't win the world title, you're obviously not succeeding, or the company just doesn't care about you. I don't believe that's the truth. I've never believed that to be true, okay? But it does come off that way sometimes. And can I be honest with you? There are moments where, without me kind of saying it out loud, it has been in my head before, like, man, this guy's never going to get a chance. Mark Briscoe, rest in peace, Jay. Mark Briscoe immediately jumps to mind. Eddie Kingston immediately jumps to mind. The idea of, if you're not competing for the world championship, or better yet, winning the world championship, are you moving up? Are you where you could be? The fact is, and this is, again, part of the conversations I've had the past several days here, kids, but not everybody can have the gold ring, right? No, not everybody can grab it. Not everybody can be the guy or the gal. It's just not going to happen. It's not physically possible. And the statement was made to me. Shout out Big Tasty, by the way. You can check him out. You can check him out on No Title Wrestling Podcast, and also on Bear Mode, a podcast review of the Bear, which is coming back. We're going to be announcing the season 2 premiere very shortly, so stay tuned for that. Tasty and I were talking about this, and his comment to me was, you know, essentially, and I don't want to misquote him, if everybody's the top guy or if everybody's the guy, then no one's the guy. I get what he's saying, and I agree to a certain extent. But because I do think it's very layered and it's very textured, right? If you are the best you can be for your level, if you are the best you can be for what it is that you do, whether that's a cruiserweight title or a tag team title or a women's title, if that's your ceiling, okay, then have you reached your ceiling? Do you know what I mean? If championship gold is not, for whatever reason, whether by your choice or not, if it's not in your realm, or if it's not the plan for you, then what is in the plan? To have the best matches on the card, or have the best match you can possibly have? You know, Ziggler has been said many, many times before. I take pride in the fact that you can put me anywhere on the card and I'll have a great match, and I could steal a show. But I mean, the first match doesn't matter, main event doesn't matter. I'll deliver every time. And he takes pride in that. And this is a guy that didn't win a whole lot of matches toward the end in WWE, yeah? But it's not always about winning and losing. And again, kids, talk about getting wrapped up in something that we really get wrapped up in way too much, too often the time. Winning and losing matches is absolutely something that we all get wrapped up in way too much, too often of the time. So, not necessarily talking about that, but just like trying to get over the idea of, okay, again, are guys and gals being moved forward? Are they advancing in their careers? When we see Darby on TV every week, when we see Orange on TV every week, I mean, what happens next? Did you know what I mean? Hey, Patty's in here. He's behind me. You can't go under that screen, by the way.
He's right there.
Oh, is he? You're going to have to grab him. This moment of cat wrangling brought to you by your friends at Tom Clark's Main Event. I got to get the cats, go get their claws trimmed, so I got to go take all this out in the audio. I can't, Wesley. I'm live on TV here, son. No. Watch your step.
I don't know how I'm gonna get him.
Well, you can't get him.
Patrick, come on.
Good heavens. Live, what are you going to do, kids? If it's live without a net, what are you supposed to do? But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, are they moving forward? Was that fun or what? At the end of the day, are they moving forward? That's really the question I got for you. And look, I can have my opinion on this. I can tell you what I think. But my opinion doesn't necessarily mean I'm right, just like your opinion doesn't necessarily mean you're right. You see what I'm saying? But I want to know what you think, man. What's everybody thinking about this? Fernando says, I am very... Oh, sorry, I lost you. I'm very happy Tommaso Ciampa win the TNT title in his first match. Every now and then promotion needs wins like these. See, that's a good example of, is someone sitting still or are they moving up? Ray says one company keeps some guys at a certain level, but I think AW's moved up some dudes like Prototype, and TC got the... Yeah, that's like Fernando just said. You're not wrong about that. I think every company has an issue with this. Not just the big two, but every company has some sort of issue with that. Chad, too bad. What's going on, my friend? Good to see ya. JP says, yes, can be at a main eventer without getting for a championship. It depends on where people see you and how much pop you get from the crowd. That's a great point, is perception. What's up, Rob? Good to see you. Perception of how you are. Perception of how important you are. Do you know what I mean? That's also a big, big deal. This notion of not just how you're booked, but how the fans see you. Fans obviously see Eddie Kingston to be much bigger than perhaps AEW books him, okay? Kingston's got a lot of diehard fans out there. I'm one of them, okay? Mark Briscoe, I think, to some degree, and Mark's been booked great. I don't know if Mark could ever complain about his booking. I mean, I guess they could all complain about anything they want to, but I don't know if it makes a lot of sense to do it. Do you see what I'm saying? But like, the perception that you have of some guys and gals doesn't match how they're booked. Does that make sense? See, Jamel Fisher says, hey, what's up? Good to see you. E says, if you had a chance... Oh, E, you're hitting me with a weird question in the middle of a topic here. The Vice President... E, please don't give me weird political questions. You know how I'm going to answer. Come on, E. Pro wrestling. Let's get to it. But yeah, again, kids, I'd like to know your views on this. This goes hand in hand with the idea of, is anyone moving up? Okay, is anybody moving up in either company? And I'll give you a good example. I'm not a WWE guy, but I know that Braun Breaker flat out did not get to compete in the Royal Rumble. Now, does that mean he's got a problem with it? Not necessarily. Does that flat out mean that he's upset? No, not necessarily. But here's what I'll tell you. What's coming out right now is that supposedly the plan was for him to have won that match and get the title shot, but that did not happen. Now, look, on his way down to the ramp, down to the ring at the Rumble, if you look in that guy's face, brother, he did not look happy. Do you know what I mean? He did not look happy. Wesley, get the laser pointer. Yes, it is. Man, I'm going to tell you right now, babe, I'm a fireman. I put out fires all the time in this house. I ain't kidding. That's what happens when you're not in the studio. Well, home studio, not the same thing. But, God, I forgot where I was. See, that's what happens. Yeah, look, Breaker, that's right. So for Breaker, has the guy earned a title shot? Buddy, you better believe it. What's the problem? What are we waiting on? Do you know what I mean? Him in the Royal Rumble main event, in a Royal Rumble main event, would have been a big deal. What are we waiting on exactly? That's a prime example of what I'm talking about right now. Is anybody truly moving up? Is anybody truly moving ahead? Or are we just shuffling the same guys around? Who won the Rumble? Who won the Rumble, everybody? Wasn't Breaker, was it? You see what I'm saying? It was not Braun Breaker who won the Royal Rumble. And look, people love Roman. I'm not disputing that. But let me tell you something. The same people cheering their heads off right now for that guy are the same people that booed him out of the building 2 years ago because they got tired of it. They couldn't take it anymore. The whole head of the table hoo-ha. They couldn't stand it. You know why? It was played out. It was old. It was, they just played it to death. And at that point, fans were just tired of it. They were done with it. Do you see what I'm saying? It just wasn't happening. Fans were out of it. They're going to be out of it again, depending on how he's booked this time, kids. It will not be over forever. I promise you that. Nothing's over forever. I mean, depending on who you are, right? Let's see. Fernando says they changed plans at the last minutes, but yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. They changed plans at the last minute. That's my point. They went with another story, and you know what? When they go with it when they choose to tell another story, give up.
Is it? Well, what am I supposed to do?
Give up. I'm telling you, give up.
Okay, so then I guess I'm not taking it.
Nope, you're not taking this one. Yeah. Anyway, wasn't that fun? So look, I don't understand really what we're talking about here. Okay, that's the problem I have, is that either a guy's ready or he's not. This thing about changing plans at the last minute, that company's notorious for that. And by the way, Braun Breaker doesn't need for me to advocate for him. He's a grown man. He can advocate for himself. And I'm not saying that anybody got screwed before anybody takes me out of context. None of that stuff happened here either. Okay, what I'm telling you is, it's just, I just have a hard time understanding how companies move forward when, I mean, look, Roman had to be given that opportunity, didn't he? What exactly are we waiting on? And, people say, well, Tom, it's Mania and Roman's a draw. WrestleMania is the draw, okay? WrestleMania is the draw. That's the truth. People are going to buy tickets and go see it and watch it on pay-per-view because it's WrestleMania, not necessarily because Roman's in the main event. Sure, they'll get buys. I'm not arguing that. But come on, what are we talking about here? Fernando with a great point. Politics of wrestling, very annoying sometimes. This is something. We were talking about this the other day as well. How do you explain pro wrestling to somebody that doesn't understand pro wrestling? How do you explain it? It's hard, isn't it? Male soap opera BS, by the way. Don't nobody do that, because that stuff does not work. That stuff has never worked. It's something cute to say. It's not the truth. It's really not the truth, man. Yeah, it's very annoying. Who do I think is the master? Supposedly revealed it. It doesn't matter to me. It's definitely not Seth. I mean, it won't be Seth. It'll be somebody else. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. I wish I had a guess for it. I don't really have a guess for you. This was a Royal Rumble, worst Royal Rumble in a long time. I just, from what I understand, shout out Phil Lindsay. According to Phil, it was a very flat show. So it wasn't a bad show. It was just flat. That not a lot of great things happened. The title matches were supposedly really good, but yeah, they just it was just kind of flat across the board. So apologies there, kids. I'm looking something up really quick. All right, so I just want to throw those two things out there. Again, we talk about a lot of news and headlines on the show, and we'll do it here again today in a little bit. But I wanted to do something a little bit different and go in a little bit different direction. But I just wanted to see what you guys thought and get your feedback and your comments. So yeah, if you guys, I'd love to know what you think. Just hit us here in the messages here today, kids, in the chat. Let me know. Um, so yeah, let me know what you think. So let's see, JP, here we go. So we don't need a part-time main event like Roman Reigns means everything WrestleMania. When is he going to disappear? And I'm not even advocating for the guy to disappear. We put Brock over again. Why? Why did Brock get put over again? Why didn't Obafemi throw Brock out of the Rumble? Why? What is the point? What is the point of him not getting thrown out of the Rumble? Honest to God. I'm just asking. I mean, doesn't make any sense to me. Not moving forward. Let me tell you what. That company is stuck in the Attitude Era. I don't care. I don't care. Don't agree with me. You're welcome to not agree. They are stuck in the Attitude Era. They will never get out of it. Ever, ever, ever. It's all they care about. Monday Night Wars, Attitude Era, bringing back the old guys. They do it all the time. Okay? They're going to continue to do it till the guys can't go no more. That's what they do. I do not believe AEW is to that point, but there are moments when AEW does some weird stuff. Here's something good I'll tell you about. Andrade, you see him on the thumbnail to the show here. I mean, they put Andrade over on Kenny Omega. I went at that match thinking, boy, it'd be kind of cool if Andrade won, and Andrade won. Look, if you're going to have a guy on your roster and you're going to pay him big time money, put him over. They did. Now, supposedly, he's going to face Hangman at Grand Slam Australia, yeah? And whoever wins that match gets the title shot at Revolution. Well, supposedly, Kenny's going to have something going on during Revolution weekend. He may not even be involved in the event. And if he is there, he may not even be able to compete in the main event. So that would explain a lot. That would explain a lot, actually. It would explain why they didn't put Kenny over. But you know what kind of kills me is that, like, why put Kenny over? And look, before anybody says anything, you're 100% right when you look at me in the eye and tell me, Tom, you're the guy that advocates for Kenny Omega. Brother, Kenny Omega having my world title is never a bad thing. I promise you. And yes, he should absolutely get that world title back again. I'm not trying to use him as a scapegoat. It's just a random example of how we kind of all believed Kenny was going to win, and then he didn't win. It was kind of a nice surprise. But that does not mean, for the record, that I'm saying Kenny should never beat Andrade. I'm not saying that. And Andrade's no spring chicken. He didn't just get here yesterday. He's not a 20-year-old. It's a different world. I totally get it. I'm just giving you a random example of how when promotions switch things up, it makes you go, oh my God, did you see that? That was pretty cool. I mean, there's reasons why, as fans, we pop over those moments. We pop over those moments because it's sometimes it's kind of out of the blue. We don't expect it. And it causes us to scratch our heads and go, well, that was kind of cool. That was kind of interesting. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm here for those moments. Sometimes they don't all make sense. I get it. But at the same time, it's good to have moments that you don't expect. Everybody, welcome back to the chat. Christopher Ray Patton, host of Bachman's Basement, host of the Patton Report. New episode of the Patton Report came out yesterday. Brand new episode of Bachman's Basement comes out tomorrow as he and Chris Clausen review Stephen King's novel Later. And it will come out at 10 a.m. in the morning, Boink Studios YouTube. So be sure you are checking it out. We appreciate you. Montrese, my dear, how are you? Great to see you. Man, where have you been? I've been lonely over here. You just left me high and dry. It's all right. I'm just kidding. Kids, while you're here, smash the like button for me. If you're just coming to the show, I had some distractions with that son of mine who tried to get in here and wrangle one of our cats to take him to have his claws clipped. And I basically had to say, that's it, you're done. My kid, when he gets upset, he gets upset. Just that real, oh my God. I think it's like a teenager thing. Oh, that response to everything you tell him. It is insane. I've heard that sound in my life more than I ever cared to hear it, ever. That right there. Insanity. Robbie said, Rob, hold on. Well, as far as does anyone move up question, why would you put on NXT wrestler in the Royal Rumble and not put him or her in the title picture to at least give a surprise to? Here's why I'll tell you that. I'm not going to make excuses for anything that company does. I don't like that company anymore. They've made it clear where they stand and I don't stand there. Okay. But here's what I'll tell you about that company. Okay. If I have NXT talents and I'm going to throw them in a WWE Rumble match, I'll give them the chance to shine. But unless they're on their way to the main roster, I mean, let them eliminate a couple guys, a couple gals here and there, and then do you have them be the final four? I mean, if they're next big thing, sure, yeah. I think that's a case by case basis, Rob. If I'm being honest, I don't mean it to be a cop out. I just think it should be a case by case basis. Jamel, I totally agree with you. Andrade and Kenny Omega freaking killed. They slayed. Thoughts on what the fans chant on Wednesday? He said, I'm for it. Bring it. Be vocal. Be loud. We need more of that. That's what I think. JB says, we watch wrestling for the unexpected and for live and not for the obvious all the time. You're 100% right. We like to be surprised. We like to be rocked on our heels sometimes. Here's what I'll tell you. The Dean Ambrose heel turn on the Shield was probably one of the dumbest things we've ever seen. They all think so. A lot of people thought so in the time. I may have been the only guy who said, that's pretty cool. You want to know why? Because it was shocking. You don't get shocking too much in this business. Legit shock where you didn't see it coming. That was legitimately shocking. I did not see that coming. Now, by 7 days later, I changed my tune because they didn't know how to book from that point on, and they screwed it hard, ruined the whole thing. And I mean, through a series of events after that, we get the return of Jon Moxley to professional wrestling. I'm not complaining about it. I'm kind of glad they screwed up. I love Jon Moxley. Not a big fan of Dean Ambrose. Okay. But yeah, that's where I'm at. So I'm glad they screwed up. However, when it happened, I was like, it's kind of cool. It's different. It's unexpected. Knowing where to go after you pull off something that big means the world. It can mean the difference between a great show and a crappy show. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I had to shut my door. But that's how small my space is, man. So yeah, it can mean the difference between a good show and a crap show. That's the truth. You know what I mean? And not every booker knows how to do it. Bookers are human. Booking committees are comprised of humans, right? At least we think. But so as long as that's the case, that's just how pro wrestling's going to be, man. That's how it's always going to be. Do you know what I mean? Human error. Human error. Will AJ show up to AEW? In my opinion, I do not believe he will. I'd like him to, but I do not believe he will, and I'll tell you why. That bit where he went to take his gloves off and then strapped them back up and walked back up the ramp, I would be shocked. Shocked. Talk about shock. To find out that they allowed him to do that knowing full well he was going to go to AEW. Because by strapping those gloves back on, he says, I'm not done, I'm going to AEW. Because that's what everybody thought. Now, if that happens, do you really believe in your heart of hearts that company would allow him to do that? Well, Tom, they didn't know. Stop. They know everything. Okay? And even if they didn't know, would they replay that moment again? Would it be on their social media? No, it wouldn't. They want to control the narrative. That's how they've always operated. They want to control the narrative. When their crowds curse and chant things, they remove them. When their wrestlers tweet things they don't like, they make them take them down. When things happen on TV that they didn't want to happen, they edit it and take it out. When their faces get booed on during matches, they sweeten the crowd during the edit on socials. Come on, guys. What are we talking about? You guys have been watching that company long enough, haven't you? Don't you know how that things roll over there? It's pro wrestling business, man. JP, I'm talking about the second time. Second time. When Ambrose turned on him. Not Seth turned. I know Seth turned on him. Of course he did. I mean, that was shocking too. But to me, the Ambrose turn was much more shocking than the Rollins turn. Much more shocking. Much more shocking. So yeah, Montree says, well, yes, that's why I wasn't a fan of WWE. Unreal. Surprise. Yeah. Well, look, Unreal's not real. Unreal's not real. If it's on TV, it's a work. Everybody knows that, right? If a pro wrestling show puts something on TV, it's there to further something else. Okay? Period. End of story. There's some exceptions. I get it. Unreal's not real. I mean, it says Unreal. It's in the title. It's not real. You know what I mean? Yeah. They can mix it up. They can say it's a blend of kayfabe and it's a blend of shoot. It doesn't matter what they say. And maybe it is a blend. But nothing is going to hit TV without their sign off. And they're not going to say anything to damage their business in public. It will never happen. Wrestlers will, wrestlers could, wrestlers have, workers, right? But not the people that run the show. That defeats your own business, you know? Fernando says HBK turn on Marty. Yeah, one of the best ever for sure. What's up? Glad to see you, saucy mama. Oh, you got snow again? Well, you can have it there, sister, because I don't want any more of it. We got 7 inches here last week. I'm done with it. I don't want any more. Here's something else I want to get to here today before we start taking questions at the end of this episode. Free versus pay-per-view. I am one of the guys through my career as a writer, as a fan, as a podcaster, who has said the words, "You're giving it away on free TV." I've said it many times. Do you know what's funny? Those are industry terms for an industry that I do not work in, that none of you work in, but we use them all the time. We use other terms too, like heels and faces and work and shoot and kayfabe. We do it constantly. I will never understand why regular everyday fans care if something's free on TV or you have to pay to see it on pay-per-view. Seems to me you'd be happy if you could watch it for free. Wrestling in 2026 is not what it was in 1980s. You're not. You want to know why? Because I move ahead, baby. I evolve. That's what I do. My takes evolve. My take on this has evolved. I no longer stick to that old broken record take of why are we giving it away free on TV? Because I want good pro wrestling matches, number one. Number two, these companies have massive locker rooms. Look at AEW's locker room and tell me, are they supposed to put on squash matches every week on TV? Is that what they're supposed to do? Squash matches with ham and eggers that live in town? By the way, you know, kudos to the ham and eggers. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect, man. Is that what they're supposed to do? And we never see good quality pro wrestling for free on TV? I don't want that. I don't want to return to that. Those squash matches and enhancement talents and everything were great in their day, and they did their jobs, and a lot of them did it very, very well. I don't want a full-time return to that, kids. I want competitive pro wrestling on my TV because I love pro wrestling. Tom, you got to pay for it. Then you might be losing me. You're going to charge me $60 every time to watch good matches when you could just give me good matches? The locker rooms are too big, kids. They're too big. You got way too many talented men and women working now in these companies to have squash matches on weekly TV, and that's all you have. It's not going to work, okay? Fans expect more. They demand more. Give me those matches. I'll take them all day long. Give me the free pro wrestling matches. We care about the weirdest stuff. And remember, I started this little rant today by telling you, I've been one of those guys that have said that phrase many times in the past. However, a reminder, as I just said, my pro wrestling takes evolve. I like to evolve and keep my way of thinking malleable, okay? I'm never going to be so stuck in my ways that I'm not willing to evolve. You want to know how you can tell? It's 2026. I was a fan in 1986 and I'm still watching. That's how you can tell. Because a lot of guys my age are no longer watching. A lot of women my age are no longer watching. Guys older than me are no longer watching. Guys younger than me have given up. Not me. Do you want to know why? Because I'm willing to evolve my way of thinking. Always forward, always. JP says, I thought we were done with squash matches. They're not fun to watch. We want real competition that we cannot predict. All right, JP. Let me backpedal just a scoosh if y'all are okay with that. I'm not saying squash matches don't have their place and they suck. I never said that. In fact, I think a well-placed squash match is great. And squash matches can work to the benefit of a talent that you're trying to get over, especially a new talent. What my statement is, do I want to see out of 6 matches on a TV show, 3 of them are squashes? No, sir, it's not for me. I don't want that. But 1, I'm okay with that. Do you see what I mean? I mean, Brody pinned MJF this past week in like a minute, 2 minutes, whatever it was. Do we call that a squash? It's not quite the same as a regular squash match, yeah. No, I'm not saying squash matches should 100% go away. I'm not advocating for that. But in my opinion, I don't think you can build a pro wrestling company on that anymore. CRP says, I mean, you can care because it affects the overall longevity of the company and the quality of what you will get on the pay-per-view. My take has. You know what? One of the reasons I like podcasting with this guy is that he makes me think. I like people who challenge, and Chris isn't challenging me, but sometimes he'll say things that will challenge. Phil has done it too, that has challenged me the way I'm thinking. Chris has a great point. I don't want the pay-per-views to be bad. If I watch pay-per-view and paid money to watch it, especially, and it's like, well, this just looks like regular episode of Dynamite. Well, that's a problem. There's a very, very big gray area here, kids, of giving me some great matches and giving me matches that I'll never forget. TV matches can be great matches I'll never forget. You see what I'm saying? There's a fine line. It's thinner than the thinnest line you've ever seen. It's thinner than dental floss that these companies have to walk 30 feet up in the air with no net. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I think we all know that, right? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Saucy Mama says, yeah, she liked the MJF got squashed. Can we agree AW pay-per-views are too long? You can agree. I take down a case-by-case basis as well. Case by case. I can tell you that some shows I'm flat out exhausted. And other shows, the quality of the matches is so superb that I can't wait for the next match. I think that is a personal viewpoint. Now, that's not saying a lot of people don't agree with you. A lot of people agree with you, Fernando, for sure. But if you're asking me personally, I take it on a case-by-case basis. Ray says some AEW cards are like a pay-per-view. Also, it's mad hard to watch WWE pay-per-view. The ESP thing is whack. Well, yeah. Sugar Shane says, Tommy just gave me an idea for a wrestling promotion, a show with nothing but jobbers. I think it would be interesting, especially the promos. There'd be a lot of, let me tell you something, brother, in those promos, I imagine. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right now. Let me tell you something later. For the simple fact, if I have to hear the phrase for the simple fact again. You guys know what part of the country I live in? I hear it all the time. For the simple fact. God, stop. Yeah. And by the way, everybody, it should have, not should of. There's no OF there, everybody. Because should have apostrophe VE has become should of. That's not, and people write it that way. What? Give me a brick I can carry in my pocket so as I can hit myself in the head if and when I need to. I didn't take that from anybody, baby. I just wrote that stuff. All right. I won't be the grammar police here today. I've lost my, it's on the bottle. I was looking for the lid. It's on the bottle. It's been a long week, man. CRP says, I don't mind. Oh, I lost you. I didn't mind the Rumble on ESPN. I didn't care for how the ticket information was at the bottom of the screen, but that is nitpicking. That being said, I use ESPN Plus for NHL games and use the app. Yeah, I've got ESPN Plus because of Hulu, so it doesn't bother me either way. I don't care. Isn't AW building Australia Collision's pay-per-view quality show for free? Yeah, and you know what? Give it to me. Give it to me. That's what I'm saying. And look, I've made it clear many times in the past, I don't speak for everybody. Just like every one of y'all don't speak for me. We are all our own people, okay? A lot of NBA fans can have the same opinion on a team, but there'll be twice as many that completely disagree. You know what I mean? That's the great thing about being a fan. You can have your own takes. You can have your own viewpoints. You like the AEW car kidnap of Darby. That's the only part of wrestling I'm not a fan of. You know, I think you can do it to a point. And then when it becomes, it's so phony, that's when it's easy to get out of it. Like blowing up a car and all this other weird stuff, plowing a semi into a limo, and there's someone in there. Come on. You know what I mean? But I think if you do it in moderation, Ray, I think if you do it in moderation, that's my opinion. Jamil says most times Dynamite seems like a small pay-per-view. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. Yeah. So again, I'd love to know your thoughts. I know this has been kind of a different show. The main event used to be I would just pick a topic. Back in the days before I ever went live, the main event was this week I talked about so-and-so. And I considered that the main event. That topic was the main event. Tom Clark's main event was about a topic. It wasn't a main event in terms of a big variety show like I do here now. You know what I mean? Just wasn't happening. But, again, times change, things evolve. See what I'm saying? See what I'm doing there? But yeah, I'd like to know your takes, free versus pay-per-view. And look, again, kids, I don't think there's any wrong answers here. There's some dumb answers, not from y'all. Y'all are great. There's some dumb takes out there. Look, I'm sorry, but when's the last time you read an opinion on pro wrestling and thought to yourself, this guy's a friggin' idiot? Bad takes exist, everybody. And no takes exist. Nothing is more boring to me when I watch a pro wrestling show than to watch somebody that doesn't have a take. I can't stand it, man. It's the worst. Have an opinion. Even if I hate it, and man, sometimes I hate it. Have an opinion. And I may agree with you or I may disagree. And if I disagree, I may try to find some common ground with you. But if I believe a certain way, you're probably going to be able to change me unless it's a difference in belief system, something like that. I know that's kind of a weird thing to get off on, but it's like I had a conversation today that was not pro wrestling related, and I won't bother you with or bore you with the topic. But this person, within 2 minutes, I thought, oh God, I need to get away from here. There's no talking to this person. Oh God, I gotta get my car and leave. I mean, legit. And it was no disrespect, but no, come on, man. No, I didn't come here for that. You know what I mean? Anyway, I think a lot of that depends on it too. And there have legitimately been times when a pro wrestling take has hit my brain on the right day at the right time and made me go, oh my God, I never thought of it like that before. See what I'm saying? I appreciate those takes that make me think. Ray says, pay-per-view is solid if the matches are fresh, or have a solid build-up. Exactly. TV wrestling has morphed. TV wrestling was only there, but consistently TV wrestling has always got ratings. And most networks, especially local networks, snap up TV pro wrestling over the past 50, 60 years because it's cheap television to produce. And it historically usually gets good ratings whatever town you're talking about. Okay. And TV wrestling was used to get you to go to the big show at the arena next month. That's why TV wrestling existed. TV wrestling gave you a glimpse of the stars, gave you a taste of what you could get. TV wrestling over the course of 4 weeks would build up a feud between the challenger and the world champion, the challenging tag team, the tag team champions. Some pull aparts, some face-offs, some brawls, until we got the title match that you had to pay to see in person, not watch it for free on TV, right? That's what TV wrestling used to do. And it was successful, and it worked for probably every company to some degree or another. And it worked. And it was fun. And it was the system, there was no need to change the system. TV wrestling has now morphed into something else. TV wrestling has become something else now. TV wrestling is no longer used to get you to the arena next month. It can get you there, okay? But when you're going to see a regular weekly pro wrestling show and you're dropping $100, $150, $200 on a ticket, that no longer feels like just a pro wrestling show. That feels like an event. Do you know what I mean? I mean, has a Raw come to your town and a pay-per-view come to your town and you had to make the decision, you're probably going to go pay-per-view. because you're going to spend a lot of money on that Raw. Isn't that crazy? I mean, some of this is out of their hands because inflation and times change and values go up and guys are better paid and the value of a dollar, changes and goes up since the 80s or whatever. But a lot of it is on them. You know what I mean? Ticketmaster, Pearl Jam. You know what I mean, right? Chris is here. He knows what I mean. Like, some of it's on the promotions, the promoters themselves. Don't charge me pay-per-view prices for a ticket in the nosebleed section for a Dynamite. What are we doing? And I don't think AEW is doing that. The other company absolutely is doing that, right? I think on some level. But that's what I'm saying. TV wrestling is no longer what it used to be. Because TV wrestling now is no longer just there to get you to go to a big show. I mean, yeah, of course. But it's also there to sell pay-per-view buys and to get you to go to social media and click follow and hit like, and it boosts their engagement and they get bigger checks. And maybe that sponsor that's plastered all over the ring, hey, you like that soda? Hey, you like that energy drink? I'm going to go drink that because that's my favorite pro wrestling company. You see what I'm saying? Like, it all works hand in hand in hand. It's a different time. It's a different era. Notice I didn't say in the course of any of that conversation just now that I like any of it, that I think it's great or awesome. I'm just noting that it's changed. TV wrestling is not what it used to be. We all know that. What's up, Maria? How are you today? Dismir always said, that's my opinion. I could be wrong. Man, I've used that a couple of times. I think about him every time. Yeah, for sure. CRP says live event ticket costs in the United States in general are ridiculous regardless. 100% agree. We're saying that conversation with Faye. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're very true. You're very right. I forgot about that. JP says wrestling has gotten too expensive for any Joe Schmo to go to live events anymore. I could not agree more. CRP says it's not just a wrestling problem. You are totally right. And that's the problem. Because it's widespread. It's widespread. I've been a part of, from a real world perspective, I've been a part of conversations in local pro wrestling companies where it's like, how much are we going to charge? $15 for a ticket, $20 for front row ringside. And I'm sorry, but even today, that sounds like a lot of money for a local pro wrestling show. And, not that your local talents don't deserve to get paid. And see, here's the thing. To cover your payroll, you got to charge for tickets, man. There's depending on who you're talking to, there's this idea out there is that, if you go to a wrestling show in your area, they're only charging $6 for a ticket, you're going to get $6 worth of pro wrestling. Talents won't be good. Wrestling won't be good. By the way, that may or may not be true. That may or may not be true. Okay. But you got to cover payroll, if nothing else. So what do? You get some great talents, then you get some younger talents that maybe you're training. Those guys and gals don't need as much. But the guys who travel the circuit locally, they need a little bit more. Their asking price is a little bit more. You got to cover your whole payroll. I mean, if your payroll for a show is $1,000, you got to cover $1,000 that you have spent out of pocket to pay the talent. Well, how do you cover the $1,000? Through the door. Well, you get for refreshments. Yeah, but who's paying the money for the food to sell those refreshments? What's the markup? What's the lease on the building that night? How much money? Are you going to break even? You're going to make any money at all? I'm telling you, they're tough conversations. These are not tough conversations for AEW and WWE. They're just not. Take it easy on fans. You got WWE sitting there bragging about how much ticket prices are. They love it. To everybody out there who's complaining about WWE ticket prices, they don't care what you think. They laugh at you. They don't care. It's awesome. Go look it up. Bragging about how much they're charging for tickets, how much they're getting for tickets now. But working class families are getting left in the cold. It's ridiculous. Saturday Night's main event in the 80s was a special pay-per-view like show for free TV, Shane says. Jim Crockett's NWA or Saturday Night was always great. Free pay-per-view was Clash of the Champions. I love Clash of the Champions. I watched that first Clash of the Champions as it happened. Sting versus Flair. 90 minutes. Yeah, crazy. Good times. Well, I feel like I've soapboxed like crazy today, and I had that kerfluffle with my oldest. I call animals kids here too, so he's my oldest child. But not by much. That he's only a couple years older than my dog, man. I'm not kidding you. So my dog's a close number 2 in terms of age, man. But yeah, I love talking about this stuff, and I think it's fine that everybody's got differing opinions. But I'm gonna tell you something right now. I would never get on my show and blast anybody. I got opinions about other hosts, but I'm a professional. Okay, some of my opinions are great, some of my opinions are indifferent. Okay. But that's just not how I roll. I like to keep things respectful. I have opinions and I have takes like everybody else does. Okay. People got opinions about me. I'm sure people don't like me. Hard to believe because I'm this freaking dashing and charming. But I'm sure I got people out there that don't care for my stuff. It's all right. Life goes on. Faye Divine in the house. Please welcome back. Faye, let's get you on the show next week. Or if you want to preview Grand Slam, are you down for that? We'll hook it up in real time, yo. Does the dog behave better at times? Oh, yeah. Dog just wants some love. My teenager wants to be left alone. My teenager wanted some love. It's all he used to care about. Not anymore. When he was not a teenager, he wanted love. Now he doesn't want no love. He just wants to be left alone. Hey, all right. Weekend after. Absolutely, Faye. Yeah. And no pressure, Faye. I put Faye on the spot on live stream, and she's at home going, oh! Freaking Tom, every time I show up, he's nailing me down to it. I'm not trying to. So, yeah. Robbie says on the Wikipedia of pro wrestling. I don't know if to take that as an insult or a compliment. Robbie, I know you mean well. So I'm just playing with you. Kids, before we get out of here today, let's do what we're going to do. Faye, you're very sweet. Thank you. I appreciate you. Let's do what we're going to do, and let's open up the floor. We didn't do any more headlines this week. We can catch some of those in the open floor here, kids. Whatever you got. Let's talk about it. Yeah, well, here's another headline, a quick headline. Jericho says he has 4 acting projects in the can. And I'm not read up on that to know what that is. But yeah. Look, I like Chris. I don't know where he's going to end up. A lot of people thought he was going to be in the Rumble. I thought there was a possibility. Who knows? Who knows if he's going to end up there? I do believe he'll end up there, by the way. Shout out to the man formerly known as Powerhouse Hobbs, Royce Keys. Royce is his son's name, and Keys is his mom's maiden name, I believe. He chose the name. We all figured he would. I said it here on the show. I don't like the name, but I don't have to like it. I like him. That's all that matters. But it's something personal to him, so that's good. Good for him. I'm glad he got to choose it. No disrespect. I said when he got signed, I hope they do something big with him. I'm sticking to that. I hope they do something great big with him. Because to be honest with you, that guy, he put his time in AEW. He learned his craft. He got so much better while working in AEW. I'd love to see him get an actual opportunity now to do something pretty darn cool in WWE. So fingers crossed that we will see that happen. So yeah, fingers crossed we'll see it happen. JP says, I love your show because I have a place to talk wrestling with other wrestling fans because I have no one locally to talk to. Boy, there's moments I have that too. That's why I started a podcast, JP. Because I'd watch a movie or something or a TV show and go, man, I'd really love to talk to somebody about this. And that's where a podcast format comes in. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why a podcast always comes in handy, because you can dial up your friends, your family, whoever it is you're going to record with, and say, hey, I just watched a movie. Want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. It's pretty cool. That's why the 6M podcast is so unique for me anyway, is I can watch a movie that's 30 years old, but I've never seen it before or something, and it's brand new to me. It's that old Family Guy gag with Chris and his boss at the comic book store or video game store, movie rental store, whatever it was. Yeah. Ray says 50 Cent or Ludacris, in part 2, DOS FX or EPMD or EMP. Is it EPMD? I thought it was EPMD. And if Adam Cole invited you, I'll say EPMD. Into the Grand, the Adam Cole Wrestling Belt Replica Store where you can get any championship belt signed by any wrestler. Yeah. I'm weird about wrestling belts, man. I don't think I'd get one. To be honest with you. It's just not for me. If I have to get something in the moment, I guess it'd be the IWGP Championship and have Tanahashi sign it. I'd be okay with that. But I would never take it to a show, ever. And if I offered you the same, the friends, you please tell me yes. Later, when we get some dinners included, salmon, a side of tasty fries, nice cup of coffee, and a side of apple pie with ice. Yes, sure. Absolutely, Ray. Ray done covered me up. I'm very shaggy. I got to get a haircut and a beard trim next week, kids. I'm like 2 weeks behind, man. 2 weeks behind. I did not watch the entire Rumble there, Saucy Mama. I'm not a WWE guy. They're not for me. They're not for me. Good luck to the talent. I have nothing for that company, but unkind words. Rob says, you mentioned jobbers earlier. Who do you think, past or present, was the best jobber? I think in the old NWA, I'm going to say George South was probably the best jobber I saw. I mean, you know you're doing your job when guys ask to work you. I mean, I think George was like Flair's favorite guy to work, favorite job guy to work. So I'll say George South. I'm not going to go by company. That's my quick answer for the territory for NWA anyway. Faye, I've seen 2 episodes. I suck so bad. I just binged Wonder Man. By the way, kids, me and Phil Lindsay just reviewed Wonder Man. It's coming out on Tom Clark 67 podcast this coming Tuesday. So everybody be sure you tune in for that. Do not miss it. But yeah, I have not watched Fallout. Don't nobody tell me about it, please. Jamel says, do you agree, Ricochet, about Sami Zayn? Why am I so behind on Ricochet's comments? Did he say them on X? I'm guessing he said it on X. Or I should say Twitter. I hate saying X. X is the worst thing ever. I don't know why anybody's even on that platform anymore, man. It's freaking terrible over there. Thing's been on fire for years. Fire. Terrible. Terrible. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't, let's see. Ricochet is correct about his legacy being ruined by WWE. Yeah, I agree with that. He's done the best work of his career. He's done the best work of his career in AEW. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Yeah, he's absolutely right now best place he's ever been. Best place for him. For him. Says it's 5 years on WWE main roster tarnished. Yep, there you go. Where does Zayn come into this? What have I missed? Somebody tell me what I missed with the Zayn connection. CRP says, Gator, speaking of old movies on the 6M in the archive. Oh, for sure. We did Gator. That's a fun episode, man. I sent you. Did I send you that clip of Jerry Reed I found? That's pretty cool. Maybe I could find it again. In recent memory, Chris says Heath Slater and WWE. Yeah. Who was the real owner of NWA, the Crockett's or Turner? The Crockett's owned NWA, and then they sold the company to Ted Turner, who turned it into, well, they'd already started calling it World Championship Wrestling, but Ted Turner bought the company. I think that's the order it went in. Chris says, Fallout is brilliant. I dislike the games, but I love the show, which is probably a weird take. I've never played a Fallout game. I need to catch up on the show. The all-time favorite jobber was David Johnson in Memphis wrestling in the 80s. Interesting. Yes, he said that El Generico has a better legacy than Sami Zayn. I don't know if I agree with all that, but he's the worker. I'm not. He sees things and understands things on a different level than I do, right? I mean, I respect his opinion. Look, Sammy has spent a lot of the prime years of his career in that company, and he's got no world titles to show for it. Now, again, I tell you, as I told you basically almost an hour ago now, Just because you're in pro wrestling doesn't mean you're going to get the world title. You should probably want the world title. Not everybody's going to have the world title. Is it a big deal? Sami Zayn has never had the WWE title and may never get the WWE world title. I don't know. You have to go ask Sami. But I think it's a shame. The prime of his career is essentially come and gone, maybe, and he still doesn't have a world championship to show for it. I think that sucks. So if he's talking at it from that point of view, I agree. I always said Sami is ruining his legacy being in WWE. I think that's up to Sami. That's up to Sami. I can't really answer that. I said this Wednesday, but Ricochet was never allowed. Well, see, there you go. And you're right. He has blossomed. Anybody that thinks Ricochet's not doing the best work of his career doesn't know what pro wrestling is. I'm sorry. You're okay to not like somebody. I don't care if you don't like somebody for whatever weird reason you don't like somebody. But to look me in the face and like with a straight face tell me it's not the best work of his career, you obviously don't know what pro wrestling is. CRP says, my favorite jobber is any two dudes who had to face the Road Warriors in any given week. Yeah, destroyed. Welcome to NWA, punk. Trevor needs to step away from the keyboard and quit embarrassing AEW. I disagree with you, Fernando. How is he embarrassing AEW? Because he has an opinion? I'd rather the guy be allowed to talk than to be muzzled like WWE would do to him. Don't muzzle the talent. Let the guy talk. People don't have to like his comments and his opinions. Who cares? It's the minute we start censoring people, that's a bad move. Now I get it. If you're working for a company and you're tweeting as your character or something, that might be a little different. He's not doing that though. Imagine if someone told Ospreay and Seth Rollins to shut up as they were going back and forth. I'm not an advocate for that. I don't advocate for them telling somebody to stay off the keyboard. No. The fact that that other company goes in and pulls down tweets and all this other stuff. This is why, when they let go of a talent, they got to change their user handle because WWE will own that other user handle. Like, Drew McIntyre of WWE, when he left, he had to go with Drew Gallows again. Do you see what I'm saying? That's how that works. Tom, is there a wrestler you hated growing up, but now have total respect for? Oh, I lost you. To me is Tennessee stud Robert Fuller. I don't know about hated. Hated because they were heels and I was supposed to hate heels as a kid, maybe. I hated Flair because of he was a heel and Dusty was my guy. But even as a teenager, as I started getting a little bit older, I was like looking around going, Flair's freaking great. Like, oh my God, he's so great. You know what I mean? Like you just cannot argue the point. There's no point to argue. I mean, I'm sorry. There's no point to argue. CRP says Zayn is main evented. Ricochet hasn't and won't. He should take a seat until further notice. Interesting take. He's main evented. Where's that world title run? Where's his WrestleMania? Where's, you know what I mean? They were building him up for the longest time. Then didn't get him the belt. I'm putting your comment back up because see, it's a different take. It's a different take. I can agree with that. I don't know if I can agree with you, but I understand what you're saying. How about that? Should Tekla win the women's championship? That's what they want to do. Sure. I think she's very capable. She's grown on me. Not that I didn't like her, but she's grown on me. Let's just put it that way. Kids, we're about to take this thing home. Let's get a couple more. We're going to get out of here. If your opinion is based on untruth, it doesn't mean anything. Well, that's true too. That's true too. But what untruth? The untruth as you see it, though. You're talking about Ricochet, but it's the untruth as you see it. That's not how he sees it. And untruth is Ricochet goes online and says, Sami Zayn said this in public or something, or that he's got black hair. I mean, you see what I'm saying? And we're like, that's not true. That never happened. He doesn't have that. But Ricochet took to social media to give his opinion, which is all social media is anyway. It's not facts on social media. Y'all know that, right? There's no truth out there. It's all emotion anyway. He has an opinion. He vented it. We don't have to like it. But again, I'm not advocating for him to get muzzled. I don't think it's the right move. I don't think it's a good move at all. Untruth in your opinion, Fernando, is what I'm saying. David Down Under, good to see you, my friend. CRP says, taking a shot at Sami for clicks. A shot for, yeah, well, you know what? See, again, I'm back and forth on that. Is it for clicks or because he's irritated? I mean, how close are him and Sami? Is he irritated for his friend? How do we know Sammy didn't confide in him on a phone call that we're not privy to? Sammy maybe aired some things out, and Rick's like, I'm going to tweet a little bit. Do you care? How do we know? That's the problem. And social media is all engagement. Chris, you got that on the money. Social media is that's all they care about. I want you guys to like and subscribe to my content. Number one, why? Because it makes me feel darn good. It makes me feel like you guys appreciate what I'm doing, what we do at Boink Studios. But number two, it helps our content. I'm not getting money off of you, but it helps our content. It boosts me in the algorithm. See what I'm saying? The more my videos get liked on YouTube, the more our videos get liked on YouTube, the more attention we will get. These are good for the network, for Boink Studios, podcast network. These are good for me. I'm not out there tweeting for myself, for my own stuff. I'm doing it for the sake of what we're trying to accomplish here. Yeah, I'd love to have your engagement. I'm not going to lie to you to get it, though. You know what I mean? That's just me talking. Keith, I agree. I think Ricochet actually feels that way, too. We don't have to agree. CRP says, so with El Generico accomplished more than Zayn. That's a rough take. Well, okay, maybe that's a bit. But see, also, from his point of view, not thinking about the size of the audience and ratings and all that, maybe he's talking about the way the character was received, how he was booked, what he was allowed to do, how over he was. Do you know what I mean? Sami Zayn at his peak was blowing the roof off that place over there. WWE, man. JP says if Sammy wasn't happy, he wouldn't be re-signing with the same company multiple times. I'll agree with that to an extent. We don't know that for sure. We need to stop protecting the dumb folks who give stupid opinions, like folks who argue dumb stuff like this guy. Fernando, of everybody in my audience, you seem to have the most problem when I give my opinion on something you say. It's so weird. I'm going to wrap this up because we got to start our weekend. I'm not protecting anybody. We're acting like Ricochet got online and said, death to a race of people, or, I hate something. It's a pro wrestler making a pro wrestling tweet. Why do we care so much? If you don't like it, you don't have to like it. I don't know Ricochet. Ricochet might be the nicest guy. He could be a jerk. I don't know. I'm just saying, we get so wrapped up sometimes in this stuff. I say we, not you. I do it too, okay? But sometimes if it's a bad take, just let it be a bad take. There's dumb takes everywhere. In this past week, I've encountered dumb takes. Can't stop them. You know what I mean? Everyone that can set up a social media account believes they should put their opinion out there. You have too. You've all done this, I'm sure. You clicked onto a post, you go to the comments. People show up to hate it. Well, this is the dumbest thing I ever saw. Click. And I'm like, you could have just kept scrolling. Did you have to stop at it, take time out of your day to say something? I don't think you did. But that's the world we live in. We're on socials where I can give my opinion. My opinion carries some weight, so here it is. It doesn't carry weight. But in the grand scheme of things, you think it carries weight. We all feel as though we have a voice. The best thing about social media is that it gives us all a voice. And the worst thing about social media is that it gives us all a voice. That's how I feel. CRP says, Sammy's response, by the way, I don't believe in the word legacy. I think it's just another word for ego. I'm just passing through. I'm going to die, and then it's going to be over. Who cares about it? Is that what he said? Kudos to him. Kudos to him. And, it sounds like Sammy took the word legacy to a very deep level. I don't know that Rick even meant it on a deep level. I think Rick was just talking about character work, but hey, maybe not. Maybe not. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. All right, kids, I think that's going to do it for us. Let's see. David says, David, I have a problem with the colors I've got here. David says, we all have our own opinions on everything, and there's no need to let it get angry and destroy your, oh no, brother, ain't nothing destroying my day. Trust me, my day's good, but you're not wrong. Yeah. It's just that some people have a different way of handling things than other people. Like I can click off of social media and I'm fine. Some people just cannot click off of social media. And I got friends who will debate all the time with random people they've never met. And it'll take an hour of tweeting back and forth. And I'm sitting there watching it going, I just don't have the patience for this. I used to, but to an extent. But for the most part, I don't have patience for that. I just don't. Life's too short, man. Life is way too short. I did see the thing of Seth. There's a video of them two squaring up to each other. It's pretty funny. I kind of like that. All right, kids, that's all we're going to do. I appreciate you guys very much. Again, apologies for the stuff from earlier in the show, but you guys know how we roll. When it's live, it ain't a mistake, baby. But I appreciate everybody very much for checking us out. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in this week. We always, as always, appreciate your time. Please don't forget, subscribe on Boink Studios on YouTube. We'd appreciate it very much. Content dating all the way back to 2014. Nothing's behind a paywall. 12 years worth of podcasts, audio, video podcasts, everything from pro wrestling to sports, to book reviews, to music, movies, you name it, we got it, man. A little something for everybody there on Boink Studios on YouTube. Visit us at boinkstudios.com. The website's a disaster because of the UI, and I hate it, but I'm working on it behind the scenes. It's not a disaster. There's just links sometimes go broken, and I'm trying to fix them. But I'm going to have Chris Patton build me a website one of these days. How about that? But yeah, go check out boinkstudios.com. Bookmark the site. Remember to follow us on Boink Studios YouTube. Check out tomorrow's brand new episode of Bachman's Basement, kids. I appreciate you very much, everybody. Do me a favor. Have a great weekend out there this weekend. Watch you some pro wrestling. Be safe if you still got bad weather and snow and ice in your area as you go out and about your business and your weekend. Stay safe out there, kids. Protect yourselves and each other. I appreciate you very much. Tune back in next week. Next Friday, 1 week from today, we'll be here barring any unforeseen circumstance. We'll see you next week. That's all we got for you. Thanks as always. And we'll see you next time, kids.